So before we move on in the course outline and the rest of them, I would like to throw a general question to us, and I will need contributions from us. What do you understand by a library in your own description? Maybe you've been to a library before, or there is one near your area. Maybe you've even gone to our study centers, libraries before. What can you say about library? Yes, 1 minute. I need just two people to talk so that we'll know that you know what a library is or not before we start. We will know where to start from after that section. So, yes, do we need to mention names? Mr. Isaac.
Good evening,
Okay, Chiamaka, good evening. Right on.
sir. To me, I would say that a
Wait, is it my network or is a network? Your
is
voice is
a
cracking, no?
place where someone can stay and study
Your voice was cracking all along. Can you repeat yourself, please?
without
Oh my goodness. Please, I need someone to help me
being
confirm. Is it from my side or
interrupted
voice is
or
cracking?
that's where someone a quiet place where someone
Ah, I did not hear anything from
can
what.
you hear me now?
All right, yes, it's better now. Can try it again now. Chiamaka, we can. Okay, maybe you should leave the meeting and join back. Okay, another person. Madam Rose, what do you understand by a library? Is Madam Rose there? If Madam Rose is not available, uh, Mr. Matthew, can you tell us what you understand by? Okay, it's like Madam Rose is there now. What do you understand by a library, ma? Hello. I hope you guys can hear me though, because I'm not
Yes, yes,
okay. That means it's not my
I
name.
can hear you.
It's from their side then. Okay, is Sam Matthew still here? Try it from your own and maybe we'll hear you clearly. Madam Rose network is not good.
I'm here, I'm here.
Yes, sir. So what is your own understanding of a library?
A library, can you hear me? A
Yes,
library is like a place where collections of book or information are being read or kept.
thank you. You mentioned important things there. First of all, it is a place. Secondly, we have important resources there, whether books or whatever. Then you could read there or you can borrow the books and so on and so forth. So now we have a fundamental knowledge of what a library is. Every one of us, of course, we know, even if you have not been to a library before, but you'll be hearing library, school library, maybe there is a library, community library
Public
around
library.
around your house or in your street there. So I don't think it should be a totally new concept to us. What they are just trying to do in this course is that as a student that have gone to university, you are expected to have or to know proper way of handling everything that has to do with academics, and library is one of them. You have to know how to behave when you enter a library, where to go, what to consult, like when you need a particular information. As a student that have gone through GS104, you know the right place to go to, no matter the type of library you enter, whether national library, public library, school library, or whatever. you will know, or maybe when you are doing your research, you will know that it is not school library you are supposed to go to. You are supposed to go to a research library. So you will know the difference between the operations of each type of library that we have. And then, of course, the content of a library. So that is all this course is all about. It's a very cheap course and very sweet one. So today, in total, we have 17 units in the course. You see, all of these resources, you may not know their importance now. All of these links that you are seeing here, they are very important for you, or sorry, to you, when you get to 400 level, then when you want to start writing your research. That is when some of you will start looking for this material again. When you want to start writing your final year project, if you want to do it yourself, oh, I know some of you have a way of going to do it from agent or so. So if you plan to do it yourself, you see all of these resources. Each of them will lead you to a but if I click on this one now, for instance, it's going to take us to a page on our browser, and that page, of course, will contain some resources for us if the link is still valid. If they not revoked it, I'm not sure this one is still valid, but we have quite a lot of links there. So that is not what we're here to do today. These are databases that contain different records of this one. I think this one is our own. Let's check it. This is non-database for academic resources. You see now, when we click on it, we can see what this is taking us to. I think this one is loan. Support none. I'm not sure this is it's like this site is compromised or they crashed it or so. So let's leave that and go to what we have. You learn about these links later on because of the study, but it's not time for them yet. In module 1, which is our concern today, we'll be talking about the meaning of a library. That's the first thing. Then we'll talk about types of libraries and then library services. Once you know the meaning of a library, the next thing you wish to know is, do we have types of library? And of course we have. Once you know the types of library, the next thing that will come to your mind is, what are the things each of them offers? So that thing they offer to the public or to their clients or their readers is their services, the services they render. So that is 3 in one module. The meaning of a library, the types of library we have, and the library services. So let's go to that module 1. Well, let's be ready to make it interactive. You'll be reading some of these. Okay, I want someone to read this short introduction to us. No, this is not.
Okay.
Hold on, let me project. Okay, here. Someone should read this for us.
Okay. Um, um, it says you may have visited one or two libraries and used some of their basic services, but there is much more to the library that you can see. This module introduces you to various kinds of libraries with their specialized services. For instance, you may be carrying out a research on an aspect of agriculture as an undergraduate, and you may need to visit a special library such as that of International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, that is IITA in brackets, in Ibadan, which demand a referral service from the library. The model will tell you how to go about it, also introduce you to all other types of libraries and special services they offer.
Okay, just like I've mentioned earlier, that is what we are expecting in this particular module. So at the end of this module, it's very important that you should have known the meaning of a library, the types of library we have, and the services they offer. So let's go to the main introduction. I'll leave that to another person. Someone should take this introduction for us. Let's not be mentioning name. Just decide on your own and take it.
Introduction.
Mm.
This unit will introduce you to to types of libraries. However, before going into the types of libraries, you need you need to first understand the concept of library and its origin. The various types of libraries that will be treated are A. Academic library, B. Research/special libraries,
Mm.
C. School libraries, D. Public libraries, and E. National libraries. Also, in this unit, the functions of the different types of library will be treated.
All right. Thank you so much, ma. That is wonderful. So at the end of this course, sorry, this unit or this module, we should be able to define a library. We should be able to describe the origin of library. And that origin is just going to tell you how did the library start? What was it called before? What were they doing when they started library? The library we are seeing now is a modern type of library. How did the library look like in the former ages, like in the medieval time and the rest of them? So, and lastly, we should be able to classify libraries by their characteristics and functions, that is, their services and so on. So the concept of a library, let's start from there. Before we go into the types of library, it is expedient that we know what a library is and then the concept, how a library operates or how we came about the word library and the rest of them. Now, this is where the main thing starts. The word library, which is library in French. Now, this is very important because in the question bank, you can see that this material is not long. So they repeat questions a lot in this course. The question bank doesn't have that much questions. They repeat questions a lot. When you do your TMA, you will see what we are talking about. Now, the word library, which is library in French, and in Latin, liber means book. Now, this is what this is telling us that this word is either library or library. Those of you that understand French, you can help us. So, in French, it is library. In Latin, liber. What it means is book. So, liber means book. There is a question they normally ask. In fact, two questions or three here. There is one you will see in TMA when you are doing your TMA. They will say that the word library in Latin, liber means dash. It means book. So the concept of the naming of library start from what we call book. Like if you go to the etymological meaning, we are talking of book, library or liber in Latin. The Latin name is liber, and that means book, and library in French. Please, let's put that in mind. It is an organized collection. Now, this is the definition of library that you should know. This is it. Because they will ask you in the exam, Dash is an organized collection of resources made accessible to a defined community for reference or borrowing. The answer you select or write there is library. Now let's look at this definition. What is it trying to say? It says that a library is an organized collection. The first thing you will notice there is that there is organization. Not just collection, not just we have textbook, fictions, stories, newspaper, articles, and the rest of them there. Yes, those are collection, but they are organized. So it means if I just walk into a room and there is a large table at in the center of the room, and they just pile up books, different books, in fact, as tall as the the roof of that room, and then some scattered on the floor and everything. Is that place a library? It's a question.
No, no.
So place who is selling 1,000 now? Sherifat, mute yourself. So is there someone like someone is listening to radio? So all right. So sorry for that. That place is not qualified to be a library for one thing. Even though there are a lot of books there, resources, a lot of collections that feed up the room. For the fact that the room is not organized, then it is not a library. So that is just a dump of books, not a library. Which means for me to enter a place and the place will qualify to be called a library, there must be organization. Whatsoever collections are in that place, they must be organized. That's the first thing. So an organized collection of resources made accessible to a defined community. Now we have access, we have defined community. Let me not explain everything. Let's challenge ourselves. Who can explain the meaning of accessibility in the definition of a library? I want one person to explain accessible, what it means or what it stands for in this definition of a library. And then another person will now talk about defined community. Yes. All we're just doing now is defining a library. And we've gotten a standard definition. It is an organized collection of resources made accessible to a defined community for reference or borrowing. So, yes, how many people do we have here? Who will take the lead first? What does it
To
mean
my
that
own
the resources are
understanding,
accessible? Yes?
accessible in this statement means, having access, like direct access to, the collections of resources in the library.
Okay, thank you. Let me give us a very simple analogy. Assuming we have a library, it is a library, it's not just a book dump like the first example I gave. A very big library with so many interesting resources, books, novels, textbooks, and so on and so forth, articles and journals. So it is like that. Then at the entrance, you have a soldier man carrying a gun, ready to shoot anybody that try to enter. Is that place a library? That's a general question to us. Can we call that place a library?
No.
It's not serving the purpose of a library, no access, which means they're indirectly telling you if you or they put at the front of the library there that do not trespass or do not enter. That means no access. So if the library is useless, it's not a library. There must be access. I must be able to enter the library, even though there will be maybe they have their working hours or whatever, depending on the type of library. But during that working hour, following their instruction, I should be able to enter. Okay, we are open from 5 to 5. So from 5 to 5, I know that there is access. I should be able to go there, do whatever I want to do. But if there is no access, then that is not a library. So the resources that are in the library, or let's assume there is even the access of entrance, you are able to enter into the library. And then when you enter into the library, every book that you find there, they are locked in a safe.
Hi, good evening.
Are you getting that other example now?
Yes.
Assuming you enter into a library now and every book, it has a padlock. You can't even check the title to even see what is this about. That kind of library, it has the purpose is forfeited. So it can be called a library. So that is the meaning of accessible. Whatsoever document, resources, journals, or anything a library is offering to its users. We call people that go to the library to do one or two things. the users of a library. So whatever a library is offering to its users must be accessible to the users, not restricted from them. Okay, that is accessible. Another thing is defined community. I want someone to talk on that. Is Mr. Matthew still here? Mr. Matthew, please talk on the meaning of defined community under the definition of a library.
Defined community can simply means maybe a defined place for reference or borrowing. A defined community to a
Okay,
defined community for reference or borrowing. That's a
don't get
place,
it.
community like a place or
Okay, don't worry.
yeah.
Don't get it mixed up. Let's check what it means now. Do you know that if this is a school library, for instance, and the library is, let's say there is a government school in
You
your
can see am.
community, in your community there near your place, and they have a library, and the library is for the school. You know that an outsider, somebody just walking on the road, cannot enter the school and go into the library and say, I want to borrow this book and go out. Why is that not going to be possible? That is a school library. It is meant for the student of the school. It's not a public library. It is meant for the student of the school. So those students of the school that have access to the library, they are the defined community that library is meant for. If it's a national library that only, or maybe if it's a research library, that only people that have a research topic in their hand that they want to write, maybe a final year project or anything, that they are the only one that are allowed to come into that library. Now, the defined community that library is meant for are people that are doing research. So what they're just trying to tell you is that although library should be accessible, but only accessible to the community for which it was meant for. So a soldier walking on the street cannot just enter a school library now to say he wants to borrow a book and go home. It is not allowed because it's not. The first thing they will ask you is, where is your ID card? You understand? Where is your ID card for the as a student? Where is your student ID card? You know, now if you want to enter your library there at the study center, one of the things they will ask you is your school ID card. So the fact that you are a student of the school already puts you under the defined community that library is meant for. So that is the meaning of defined community. So in essence, all we have said about the library now is that a library is an organized, a well-arranged collection of resources. Those resources can be anything. We will still get there. But not just well-arranged collection of resources. What happens to collection of resources? Made accessible, which means people can actually go there, touch it, feel it, maybe read it or borrow it, you make use of it. But not just any people, but to a defined community, which means if we say this is a school library, only the student of the school will be able to enter it and do anything they want to do inside the library with confidence. And then the purpose of the resources there is for reference or borrowing. So in 1 minute, let us echo the meaning of a library together. Everybody unmute yourself and let's read it together. Yes, are we ready? One,
Yes,
two, go.
It's an organization.
it is an organized connection of resources.
Made
Let's read
accessible.
it.
Organized collection of resources made accessible to a
Accessible
defined community for reference or
for
borrowing.
reference.
Thank you. So once you see something like this in the exam, your mind goes straight to library as the answer, whether in OBJ or fill in the gap. You should know that what you want to write is, and please learn the right spelling of library. Library. Some people call it library. Anyhow you call it. Just know that. Just try to grab the spelling. Now, let's leave that. What are the resources? You know, we said the collection of resources. You should have asked that what are the resources that are found in a library? It provides physical or digital access to material and may be a physical building or room. Okay, that is a continuation. A library can be a physical room or building, or it can be a virtual space. We have so many sites now that are library. You enter them, you can see different types of books, whether for downloading or for reading. So, can be a virtual space, can be a physical building, or it can be both. There are some libraries that run online database. They have is a physical building, but they still have online database that you can visit their online site and read online too. Now, a library's collection, we are not talking about this, you know, we say organized collection of resources. So what are these collections of resource or this collection of resources? What are they? Now, a library's collection can include, please, you need to know all of this, although there is only one question that has to come out on this statement. In the question bank, only one question. And that question is, the following are a library's collection, except they will list, I think, periodicals, manuscripts, but the one they will add that is not part of it is real estate document. So real estate document is the odd one in that particular question. Most of you will meet that question in your TMA when it starts. So you should learn that. What are the things that we can find in a library's collection? That means when I enter a library, what are the things I'm likely to see in all the different organization or arrangement that are in the library? You may see one shelf here, see another shelf here. They may demarcate this one, maybe into half, this one into quarter. All those things they are putting there, what could they be? If I enter a library, what are the things I'm likely to see as resources in the library? We have things like books. That is the general one. We have periodicals. We have newspapers, manuscripts, films, maps, prints, documents, microform, CDs, cassettes, videotapes, DVDs, ebooks, audiobooks, databases, and then other formats. Those are the things you can see in a library. There is something that is not written here. Real estate document is not something that a library contains. I've given you the expo. That is the only question they set on this particular statement. Now, libraries range in size from a few shelves of books to several million items. That means we have different sizes of library too. In Latin and Greek, the idea of bookcase is represented by bibliotheca. This is a question, both in TME and exam. In Latin and Greek, the idea of bookcase is represented by dash, bibliotheca. Please put it in mind. This means library in many modern languages. For example, in French, library is called bibliothèque. You know, we have two things on French now. We first say libraries. That is when you need to understand the difference. Libraries in French means book, not library. Please, let's bear that in mind. These libraries that we first talk about in French means book, and in Latin it means liber. But French, the French word for library itself is bibliothèque. So I need to clarify that. You see, from this place alone, if you know how many questions is in the question bank from this place alone, so you must not joke with it. Now, the history and origin of library. That is where we'll stop today, this 3.2. But I need someone to read it for us and read it sincerely.
The first libraries contained archives of the earliest form of writing, such as clay
Now,
tablets.
sorry, I think
Yes, sir.
they should have corrected this thing by now. What is here is archives. There is R here, but there is, I think, a typo error in the material. Over time, we've
Okay.
explained to them. They've forgotten to. All right, just continue.
Okay, sir. such as clay tablets in cuneiform script discovered in Summer dating back to 2600 BC. These written archives mark the end of prehistory and the beginning of history. According to Zhang, 2011, the earliest discovered private archives were kept at Ugarit. Also, there was evidence of libraries at Nippur about 1900 BC and at
Nineveh.
about Nineveh
Mm.
about 700 BC, showing a library classification system. Private or personal libraries consisting of written books appeared in classical Greece in the 5th century BC. In the 6th century, at the very close of the classical period, the great libraries of the Mediterranean world were those of Constantinople
That's
and
Abby, you're calling.
Alexandria. Ma'am?
No, continue. That is not
No,
you.
not
Okay.
you. Sorry, please. Sorry.
From the 15th century in central and northern Italy, libraries of humanists and their enlightened patrons existed. The oldest existing library in China was Tianyi Chamber Library, which was founded in 1561 by Fan Qing during the Ming Dynasty. It had a collection of 70,000 volumes of antique books. In Northern America, personal collections of books were brought over to the continent by French settlers in the 16th century. The oldest non-personal library on the North American continent was founded at the Jesuit College in Quebec City in 1635.
Thank you so much. You see this
Here
place,
it comes,
you
sir.
finish reading now. Oh my goodness. Just try to digest it very well, even personally, because
Okay, sir.
you can't run away from this part. Questions are loaded in this particular paragraph. And
Yes,
some
sir.
of those questions, you will see it in TMA. This one is not even something far away. In your TMA, you will still meet some of them. And so we have important things that were mentioned there. The first thing you should know that the first appearance, the earliest form of library that we had were in form of clay tablets. It's very important you know that one. They were in form of
Okay.
clay tablets. And they were discovered in 2600 BC. Very important. It's all these dates. They're very important too. Okay. Another thing is, according to Dash, yes, they used to ask this question. According to Dash, the earliest discovered private archives were kept in Ugarit. So there is this statement. There are two questions that come out on it. There is one particular question in the question bank that they cut out this Zhang 2011. There is the second version of it, they cut out Ugarit. So this statement is very important. This is just a brief history of library, how it all started. The first thing is that appeared like library then was clay tablets. Now, the earliest, okay, we'll talk about that. Now, there are also evidence of libraries at Nippur about 1900 BC and at Nineveh about 700 BC, showing a library classification system. Now, there is a question they normally ask here that the evidence of libraries at Nippur and blah, 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 blah was to show dash. It was to show a library classification system, mostly as in OBJ, library classification system. So the private archives that were kept at Ugarit and evidence of libraries found at Nippur, the main objective they were serving then was to show library classification system. Then private or personal libraries consisted of written books also appeared in Greece in 5th century BC. This is what they used to cut out here. In fact, sometimes this particular question comes out in TMA, but mostly it's in the exam. So written books appeared in classical Greece in the 5th century. Please bear it in mind. And then in the 6th century, to the very close of the classical period, the great libraries of the Mediterranean world were those of Constantinople, and I think they don't ask question on this, and Alexandria, except they want to start from this semester. Now, from the 15th century, another one, this 15th century is very important, in central and northern Italy. So they cut out 15th century mostly in this question. Libraries of humanists and their enlightened patrons existed, and sometimes patrons. So you have to be careful. And there is this question on China too. This question on China. This is just history to tell you how libraries all started. The first appearance, the things that appeared like library in those days, before all this modern system of classification that we are using now. We are still going to talk about that under library classification. You see that we have several transition in the classification of library, starting from the olden days, and then little by little changes, and we'll go to what we have today. Now, in China, this is another question. The oldest existing library in China was dash. So in most cases, they cut out Tianyin Chamber Library. Sometimes they cut out 1561. Please bear those things in mind. We have less than 1 minute to go. And this is another question. That library in China contains how many volumes of book? 70,000. So if you are able to master all these things I've said in this particular place, and this Jesuit college is very important too, they cut it out as a question, then you are set for any question in this history of library. So we won't be able to do types of library today. That will be for the next class, next week, Tuesday. So this one that we've done now, I will drop questions on it for us in the Telegram group. Let's try to interact with them.